Hello Smite Draft League and welcome back to our playoffs videos. Looking at Godlike again this week. We're going to be taking on Sunbreakers and Seismic Shockwaves. Sure to be a good battle. Loved watching both these teams all season. I'm iNooblet. I'll be one of your hosts, joined by the ever lovely Chiron. How are you doing tonight, Chiron, and what can we expect from this set?
I am doing fantastic. And I'm excited to see the #1 seed Sunbreakers take on the Seismic Shockwaves to see if they can continue the legacy that was set in the previous season.
True. If you didn't see our last season of Smite Draft League, we had 3 divisions: Godlike, Immortal, Divine, and lo and behold, Sunbreakers took every division. They won every single one. It was a dynasty. It's been amazing. There are still some Sunbreakers left in the running to continue that. Not in all of the divisions, as we've added a 4th this season, Unstoppable. But today we are looking at Sunbreakers, Godlike, and seeing if they can run it back. But first, they need to get through Seismic Shockwaves, and to do that, we will need to head straight in to picks and bans. Picks and bans, Godlike, top end players. What do you think we're going to see, Chiron? What would you like to see? What would you not like to see?
I would not like to see a Pele, Raijin, Chernobog, Athena, Hades even. All those gods kind of just do more than all the rest. As we see a Hebois first ban.
How do you feel about that, Hebois?
It's a little out there. He's definitely strong right now, but maybe it's more of like a target ban. As we see the Raijin banned from Seismic Shockwaves. Don't want to be giving that up to first pick. Charon. I forgot about Charon. He's an incredibly oppressive support.
Yeah, and in this meta, for some reason, supports have been prioritized. Of course, the Ganesh, Athena, Karen in the top 3. But going back to the Hebois, it may be a target, but also Hebois is always strong, and especially in the hands of players like this, like we're about to see right now. It's just so hard to deal with. Early game, maybe. Mid to late game, he's just destroying everybody. Cooldowns are just nothing. Damage is just everything. I'm okay with not seeing it.
They don't call him the god of 3 ults for nothing.
And then Pele, that's a familiar one.
Yep, can't be giving Pele up to the first pick. That is a solid ban. Pele can just control the early game and translate that into the late. As the Thor is taken away by Sunbreakers, another very strong jungler and solo.
And we're finishing up with Amaterasu. So 5 of these 6 bans are pretty traditional, very strong in the meta. On Seismic Shockwave side, that's all 3 top gods in their roles currently. Got them out of there, and then maybe some targeting with the Hebo over on Sunbreakers. I'm sure all these players at this level know each other pretty well. Don't want to see it, but Thor and Karen, pretty familiar. So now, we're going to be looking at first pick for Sunbreakers, trying to run back this dynasty. What's the top pick of this set in your mind?
I think it should just be Athena. That is the strongest support, bar none. She does everything better than all the supports right now. And it's a global. As we see the Chernobog covered and locked in. Global pressure. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we do sometimes see players in the Godlike division prioritize some sort of carry in the first pick. Not always. Sometimes, if there's a really good support that someone plays really well, they will. But sort of feels like they want to get the damage out of the way, and then their support's probably good on both ends. They can take the second best pick, when it comes back around.
That is very true. And Chernobog can also be used as a flex pick for Sunbreakers because you can put that in the mid or duo lane.
Do you expect it might not go to the duo lane?
It more than likely will go to the duo
Your
lane.
time has
But I know a
come.
lot of teams have, well, maybe not a lot of teams, but quite a few people have taken it into the mid lane across all levels of play. As we see the Morrigan locked in for Seismic Shockwaves, and I'm curious to see what they pair it up with.
I will leave standing.
And that's going to be a Ganesh lock-in for Seismic Shockwaves. So the good thing about Morgan pickup is it didn't matter who they first picked. You also have that on your team now. You now have the global rotation for whoever is playing Morgan, probably iZVENT. And I feel like that works out pretty well. Almost negates the reason why you would pick Chernobog. And of course, Ganesh, so good right now.
It's true. You can just turn into Chernobog and then you show up to the team fight as well. So instead of them having a one-man advantage on the Sunbreakers, all of a sudden it's evened out.
No mercy!
Ares.
It's a very strong support right now. I'd like to see Sunbreakers go for something with really good beats running potential in the jungle. Because you can have the Ares
like that.
How long?
Someone you have to beads or you are dead is the only result.
Yeah, that is a very strong jungler. Yeah. I can't believe I forgot about him.
Ao Kuang has been very prevalent, always has been, and I think he tends to get slept on a little bit. He kind of, no real changes happen to him, and he just sort of falls out of meta for no reason, and then people remember, hey, Ao Kuang's disgusting. Why don't I just pick him up?
I think it more has to do with his items. When his items kind of fall off and get nerfed, he kind of just has to fall off as well.
True, and right now, magical ADCs are very prominent, so that makes Ao Kuang very prominent doing the ring build, or you could just do a full burst mage builds. That happens sometimes. But speaking of magical carries, none banned yet, none locked in. Wonder if we'll see that in the second round or if they'll be picked up. Camazot's hover, Camazot's lock-in. Seen a lot of Camazots in ranked lately. What is it about him that makes him so strong right now?
He's just a full damage, full dive assassin. He gets in there and he kills backline and is also incredibly safe at the same time. He gets to just go fly up above their heads and is untargetable. As we see the Giannis bans.
Hate to see the Giannis ban. My favorite god by far. Love to see him played by really top tier players. Unfortunately, will not be in this set. So it is a good ban since you already have global presence of Chernobog, not giving them another full global presence. I like that.
I'm wondering if Shockwaves ban the Athena next, as we see Sunbreakers ban the Wukong, just a top solo laner.
Well, they do have Ares locked in already. Granted,
yeah, but you could also
crazier.
Throw Athena solo.
Yeah, we have seen
throw Ares solo. You could throw Athena jungle, Ao Kuang solo. You could do a lot of stuff with those three.
Definitely could, and we've seen crazier things occur. Agni going to be the last targeted ban for the Seismic Shockwaves. Just going to go after the mid lane, take 2 big mages off map. Well, technically 3 now. And all real big burst potential. I would say those are probably the top 3 most locked in, other than like Morgan Le Fay. And then we're going to wait on Sunbreaker's final ban. They've already targeted Sun Wukong. Might stick with the solo lane here, or they might throw out a carry ban. Still, all magical ADCs on the board.
Could potentially see something like the Nike or the Hades here. Just
it is the Nike. He predicts it. Nike ban not going to be in this contest, and we saw a lot in the last Godlike set with Aztec piloting that, and it was pretty good. It was pretty good play on the Nike, so no harm getting that out of the way. So with Nike and Sun Wukong banned out, what do you think they might reach for in the solo lane here, looking at the matchups?
I think you could always go for something like Cullen. Hades is still open if they want to go for the double magical there.
Have you already seen this set?
Where are you going?
No, he's just a strong solo laner right now. He
Chiron
goes
is
good into
calling
kind of
it.
every lane. You know?
Fantastic. And you did play solo lane for your teams, the Stormcallers, so I think you might know what you're talking about here in predictions. Sunbreakers looking at their final 2 picks here. Gonna need a mid laner, ideally, and a solo if things stay traditional. Be matching up against a Morrigan. What can you really do into that? Because whatever you pick, they're also gonna have.
I kind of think a Morgan Le Fay would go really strong here. It's got really good self-peel into the Kama Percullen dive. You can easily poke out the Morgan and keep her out of stealth. As we see the set locked in.
Wow. We have seen that pulled out a few times. Guessing that might be set mid. It's so good. I mean, set is just so hard to deal with when a good player is running it. It's just all over you all the time. Good sustain, good damage. So hard to get away from, too.
Incredibly hard to outrun a set. His dash is so long. His burst damage is insane.
Especially people have been building like Warden Sigil on him, and he just feels unkillable, man. It feels not fair. Hi-Res, take a look at that one. Rat going to be a hover for Sunbreakers as their final lock-in. The confusion continues with Meek as a lot of these gods could flex a lot of ways. And Rat is locked in for Sunbreakers. All right, go ahead and try and analyze that one, Mr. Solo Laner. What's happening?
I think the set is going to go middle, and I think the Rat is going to go solo because he can just kind of AFK farm the wave, let Percullen get angry and push the wave to him, and then he's got the global pressure to rotate to mid and Pyromancer once that starts spawning. As we see the X-Belonke locked in.
He's been a heavy pick lately, I'd say. A lot of people choosing to go that route. We finally got out of the Hachiman meta, it feels like. I think X-Ball does very well in this meta where it's a lot of attack speed or slight crit. And I think since you rely on his autos mostly, there is some ability based in there. Relying on those autos is so good. And then, of course, throwing the darkness everywhere so that the team just has a slight edge in a fight could be huge. Take a look at these matchups, Chiron. Initial impressions. Do you think Sunbreakers are doing something crazy enough to get it done? Or you think Seismic Shockwaves with a more traditional composition here might take it?
It's all going to rely on the Sunbreakers dive. They have 3 assassins and a Chernobog who can get in there. Ares is going to be getting in there. He's not very peel oriented. So it's all if Seismic Shockwaves can withstand that initial dive, they have a very good counterpunch team. Ganesha ult, the Morrigan can transform into whoever she wants. X-Ball can turn the lights off to help stall the dive. And once they get through that first burst, I think they have a much better team fight.
Well, there's only one way to find out, and that is to head into game number 1 of this Godlike semifinals matchup between Sunbreakers and Seismic Shockwaves. We'll see you in about 5 seconds. Welcome back, SDL fans. We are now live in game, ready to call this one. Sunbreakers, Seismic Shockwaves, Godlike best of 3. I'm still iNooblet and still joined by Chiron, and let's take a look at the compositions of this team. Were you right? Were you almost right? Were you kind of wrong on this one, Chiron?
I was only right on the set mid. We have a Rat jungle and an Aokwang solo.
You know, I kind of love it.
Aokwang's just going to do like what Rat said, what I said Rat would do. He's just going to kind of let Cullen get angry and push the wave to him. I like having the Rat in the jungle.
Yeah, I actually really like Aokwang solo. I'm not a big solo laner myself, but I like Aokwang solo purely because solo laners want to build that TP, so they make those early rotations, get the first Gold Fury that pops up, and wreak havoc. You go into Aokwang in the solo lane, you almost always have to go beads, or it's just a free execute every time while you guys are boxing. You do see Kukulkan did go beads, and actually Aokwang responded as well with beads of their own, so smart there. We might not see first blood over there as we probably would once level 5 comes.
Yeah, it's just you have to go the beads into the Yaguang solo. It forces the solo laner, and he's not gonna go. He more than likely won't go teleport second. He'll go a blink there. So, if he gets bullied out, he's gonna have to walk the long way back to lane.
That very well might result in a slower game. We do see Codester coming over here to the right lane, maybe try and make something early happen on STAILUS. And then, of course, Aggressing is over in the left lane, getting that shield buff for his team. Don't have to really contest that. Minute 50 seconds in, nothing's really occurred yet. We typically see in these games a first blood in the mid lane at this point, but maybe filling each other out. Top tier players, semifinals match. Don't want to be the first one to make the wrong move.
Yeah, I imagine we see a bit slower pace. Set kind of wants to get his first 2 items online. Rat can really make an impact if they're trying hard, as we see a lot of pressure on the duo lane here. But no kills, no first blood yet. But Kakulin and the Outwong in the solo lane, probably not going to see first blood there, like you mentioned with the beads.
2 chains on the mark, third one off the mark, and a quick silence to stop all the fire coming out. So Ares and Ganesh, 2 top tier easy picks in support right now. But who has the edge in that matchup? Oh, TypicalJava actually dropping very low over in the tower. We can see his health bar right now, barely gets back there. Is going to survive that one. Has a little sustain. We'll see if he's going to stick around. And STAILUS goes under tower. But Ares versus Ganesh. Obviously Ganesh has silences that can throw off a lot of the channeling, but now he's going to face some chains. Is it long enough? It sure is. And purple buff actually going to be stolen by the Sunbreakers. So a good invade from KillCamKenny. Going to take a lot of poke on his way out. Maybe now we can get the answer to the question. Ares versus Ganesh.
They kind of counter each other a little bit, if that makes any sort of sense at all.
Yeah, sure it does. Chain stop the dash. Silence stops the channel. But the Ares ult kind of beats
Ganesha.
But Ganesha drops
his ult onto the Ares before he gets ulted. So like,
what are you gonna do?
They kind of counter. It all just comes down to execution.
And both KillCamKenny and TypicalJava are fantastic players, so I'm very excited to see that matchup and who gets the job done with their god. Actually, overall, a lot of familiar faces on these rosters, and they're all very good players. Godlike Killer, a bit of a newer face, unless it's a name change. Could be. That happens a lot in these situations. But overall, I think we're probably in for an exciting one. Certainly not the most exciting start to it, but once things start flying in a godlike set, it is hard to stop them.
I mean, the Sunbreakers have almost pulled 1,000 gold just off of farming the map. And that has come out of nowhere.
Look at these chains.
Minus the
so
purple
good.
invade.
Here comes Aggressing. Ares ult has come out. KillCamKenny's only going to pull in TypicalJava, and here's the rotation from the Chernobog. Answer to the first blood is KillCamKenny has fallen to Aggressing. There's that global presence rotation that is just nothing you can do about. If you're AyeGarrett and Codester, you just got to let it go and hope the boys are okay in duo.
Chernobog a little caught out here, but he should just be safe.
Yeah, he'll be all right. That is a really good macro that we see there. Aggressing is leaping under tower. Gonna get a little bit of poke and take some in return from the tower. Just letting his presence be known that he's always around and he's always watching. But what I was going to say is that's a good macro from TypicalJava to hold the silence until Chernobog is already in the wall. And when he dashes out, immediately silence. And he's kind of just sitting there, not doing a whole lot. Fortunately, couldn't follow up on that one. But 5.5 minutes in, 700 to 800 gold lead for the Sunbreakers. Despite not, or excuse me, yes, despite not getting the first blood. So in a bit of a rough early game start that can change in the blink of an eye as another good invade. This is the second purple buff taken off the map by the Sunbreakers when it was in full contest.
The one thing that I also want to point out is STAILUS on this Kakulin, who's known as a lane bully, has not really been able to bully out the Outquan very much.
It's true.
He's got a slight level disadvantage as...
Ooh, good dash.
Beautiful dash.
Water Illusion gets him out as it always does. One of the most frustrating things about going against an Ao Kuang, if that's up. He does have that Death Toll, so he's got a lot of sustain. Auto's a huge part of the kit. And built straight into a breastplate, so the cooldown's there, the mana's there. He's just going to be spamming abilities. I feel, though, once Kukulkan has a little more online, just got some magical defense online, he might be able to push back a little harder. Of course, once beads are down, this can be a different story. We see Codester hanging around on top of the jungle, maybe just wanting to make sure purple is secured for Sunbreakers. And again, back into a little lull here 7 minutes in.
And again, the Sunbreakers have clawed more gold, as we see they're right around 1,000 gold up right now.
And those little things do matter. You know, just a little bit of extra farm here and there can get you maybe a tier 2 item faster than the others. Put you in a better spot for the first Gold Fury that has spawned. Deep in the jungle here, Aggressing. Going to meet up with KillCamKenny, who misses the chains, meaning that the leap will be there for Aggressing. Just going to chunk him down a little bit. Still a little tanky here early on.
He's got the Gauntlet of Thebes stacked up decently already. I believe most of this farm has come from the mid camps and shield buff, shield and cooldown buff. All the neutral camps on the map, I think, have mostly gone to Sunbreakers. As we see another gank over here,
And good
not
dash
really
from,
pan out.
Good dash from CJ Lopez just to get out of the way. AyeGarrett taking a little bit of poke from iZVENT, who had turned into Chernobog but decided not to rotate. Everyone stuck in the Dharmic Pillars. And KillCamKenny went up into the ult, but it wasn't enough to stop the bat out of hell. That is a second kill for the Seismic Shockwaves, this time credited to the Gibalanque, piloted by Raymond. Rat is in the air. Just gonna come right back down on the red buff. Probably not going to contest that one as iZVENT is hanging around. Another good kill from the Shockwaves. Hasn't quite put them in the lead yet, but I expect to see it. And a good invade from the Sunbreakers. Man, they are all over this jungle.
Beautiful job by Codester there to steal that red buff away.
Finally 1v1 here. Getting a little spicy. Raymond getting the worst of it. And no, not the tower dive. CJ Lopez goes in. The beads are going to be good for no root. And now they're even health and going to walk away. Interesting.
But that is a beads out. And you have an Ares and a Ratataskor on your team that can punish that beads being down.
Well, look at this damage. The abilities just seemed like he just 3'd him in the matter of 2 seconds twice. STAILUS taking a bit of poke and walking away. Looks like he built into Glad Shield after that. So maybe doesn't care too much for the defense aspect against Ao Kuang specifically right now.
20% cooldown on a already very short cooldown of Ao Kuang. Plus, he could have the blue totem online for that 30%, and that 3 is up so often.
Let's take a look at AyeGarrett in the mid lane here. So playing set, and in almost every scenario, set versus a mage in a 1v1, mage loses. Oh, what a great pull to catch him after the dash because the beads were down and Codester's here to clean it up. Raymond falls. What a perfectly timed ult from the Ares.
Beautiful. And they did that quick enough. Ares ult will be back up before X-Ball beads are back up. They can run that same play back.
Oh, man. The toxicity. But seriously, good macro plays from KillCamKenny, understanding that. And for being there on the rotation from Codester, just ready to go. Easy stun. My question was, at what point does AyeGarrett become unmanageable for iZVENT? What point does set just overtake the mage in mid lane and you just can't win that matchup?
I think it's really going to revolve around this third item.
Another invade.
He already has a fully stacked Transcendence. He's got a Jotuns. Once he gets this third item online, could be like a Crusher or something along those lines with some percent pen and just extra ability damage. He's going to be able to just keep iZVENT poked out from range. As you see the 1v1. And
autos, they're good.
Let's go. There's a beautiful little 1v1 there.
Nice solo kill from CJ Lopez. He's been putting in a lot of work, hasn't yet claimed that kill till just now, and now 2 levels down on the Xbalanque. That's going to be a tough way to come back in with Chernobog being top of the meta. Aggressing, wanting to contest this Gold Fury, does have the ultimate, but he is gone. Abracadabra, no more Kamazots. Sunbreakers take that kill and that Gold Fury and go on their way. And we just saw the XP charts for the first time. Although the gold lead wasn't significant then, a little bit more now. XP was about 4K difference just from this farming, which is another side effect of how many buffs they stolen. Another purple buff. Let the man have his purple, boys. He's already 2 levels down. Give him something. They are just choking the life out of Seismic Shockwaves right now.
That is one of the best ways to play the map right now, is to just apply that much pressure in dual lane and not let the ADC get to farm. Because an ADC without items doesn't do much.
It's wonderful to see, because if you think about lower levels of gameplay in Smite, when someone's behind that much, we'll keep our eye on the Stygian Beacon fight. When people are that behind, like Raymond is right now, the initial thing that people do, what you want to do is, we usually see them come over and try and keep ganking them and killing them. But Sunbreakers, thinking about the macro plays, are coming over and just starving him a farm as another solo kill from CJ Lopez, this time under tower. Took 2 or 3 tower shots and got out. Another kill. Great option, but they're starving him a farm, which is almost just as good as killing him. TypicalJava now in a bit of trouble. Is gonna dash out. Had to use beads there if you didn't know that that was going. Aggressing returns the kill onto AyeGarrett. Hasn't got really in this game yet, being punished. The Morgan turning into Chernobog, going up into the ult. Straight back down into the welcoming arms of Codester with a big stun and burst damage. Level 14 on this Rattatas gear, 4-0-0. That feels like a snowball that you're not going to be able to stop.
Yeah, once Rattatasker gets rolling, he doesn't stop. As Raymond looks like he's...
Look at the setup. Look at the setup. Blink over the wall. KillCamKenny coming in. Misses the chains, but everybody's still here. They can tower dive. They did it with 1. Why not 3? Codester putting Raymond in the dirt another time. Now 3 levels down. Has died 4 times. Where is Raymond's help? I don't know.
Level 12 Kamazots. Can't really save him there.
You think that's the thought process? Like, hey, he's not worth a lot of XP right now. Let him keep ganking. Let's see if we can get farm. And let's see if we can get back in the game and he'll catch up later. Think that's the rationale?
Yeah, kind of just put him on an island. Your solo is 2 levels down, but he's not that far behind in itemization. And your mid laner is 2 levels down, but not super far behind in itemization. Maybe we can get some pressure rolling in mid or solo lane, as we see Pyromancer looked at here.
KillCamKenny
just a little
going
ward battle.
Straight onto iZVENT. Only got 1 chain off. Aggressing coming in, trying to get it done. A doubles Ares pull. 1 comes in. iZVENT had to Aegis the stun, but there's AyeGarrett in the game. A 4-man knockup from STAILUS, but it was a little too late. He blinked in for that one. Just to try and create some peel. It was a good ult, but no follow-up, and now they're going to go straight onto Pyromancer.
Codester's up in the air, looking to probably land on the front line here. Maybe Raymond, as Raymond's rotated all the way across.
Rat does land back on top of him. KillCamKenny stuck in a bad spot. Gonna fall the way of Raymond, who got a kill. That's huge for him to get back in this game. Aggressing into the bat out of hell. Gonna go on to AyeGarrett. TypicalJava chasing him down. There's the grab, but where's the follow-up? He's gonna dash out for free. Codester trying to get some return damage. Look at that burst, and here comes Leet Killer. Wants to get the ult off, but Ganesh has beads. Did no one communicate it? There's an ult down for Ao Kuang, and iZVENT wants some. Now in the Chernobog form. A big fight. Only person dying there, I believe, was KillCamKenny. Everybody else got out, but in the chaos, Pyromancer went the way of Sunbreakers.
I was going to say, I don't know who got Pyromancer. That turned into so much chaos and nobody picked up the Pyro Bomb.
Yeah, they didn't have a chance. In fact, that might have been what put KillCamKenny in a bad spot. He might have tried to go back and get that bomb for just a split second too late, but it definitely went the way of Sunbreakers.
Yeah. I mean, as an Ares, what can you do? You get the objective. You sacrifice yourself for the team. You pressed 4. If they're all grouped up around you, you can't do any more. As we see the Oni Fury started up by Sunbreakers.
16-minute Oni, rats in the air. Might land on Raymond. Lands a little short. Scares him off, though, so now it'll only be TypicalJava to contest this. Does have ult. It's gonna not hit the walls onto it, so Sunbreakers will take that one, and Oni Fury in the pocket 16 minutes in, and that's just gonna add to the pressure.
This game has started to snowball crazy out of control. The Sunbreakers have an 8,000 gold lead. I imagine experience is even more. We see 4 levels in solo, 2 levels in jungle, 2 levels in mid. The supports are tied, but then you still have a 3-level difference in ADC. Seismic Shockwaves.
You know what I'm surprised by? It's felt like Aggressing has really been in this match and really been in people's faces and doing return damage. He's at the bottom of the player damage charts right now. I thought he was doing a lot more than that. It felt like he's had a really big presence for his team right now.
Sitting at 2-1-2, I think his damage numbers have all been relevant in the fights that he's been at.
TypicalJava, yeah, he gets pulled back in. The beads weren't off cooldown. KillCamKenny there to clean that one up. Didn't need to use the ult. That'll be available for a later fight, which is huge. I don't know if Java had ult available there. He does now. Chose not to use it. If he did, just wants to die with all this stuff up because he'll be back in 20 seconds. Raymond, no mana, has to use beads. Look at the damage from landing on Codester through the Cosmos. Did so much right there. Level 17 rack coming down on your head. And now Stygian Beacon maybe? Maybe an early Fire Giant? Where do they go from here?
They have the pressure. They could start looking at Fire Giant whenever they wanted. We still see CJ Lopez farming out in left lane, kind of doing his own thing, just continuing his lead, stealing the chest camps actually, so they don't get the bonus gold for being behind, just to keep them down.
Look at this 1v2 over here. KillCamKenny taking on 2, but Codester's joined the fight, and Aggressing is just gone. Credit the way of KillCamKenny. STAILUS in trouble now. Shield's going to help a little bit. He's going to run into an AyeGarrett in the back if he keeps going out of it, so they're going to press the issue. AyeGarrett now going to come into the fight. KillCamKenny is tanking, but the tower's finally dead. Ooh, doesn't... you could tell KillCamKenny there wanted to throw out his 2 just to get the slow off, so maybe they get that kill. Got rooted in place, wasn't able to do that. But the boys in blue looking for something else to do here. Raymond stuck to the lane, trying to catch up in levels. Pyromancer spawning. Fire Giant still available. Could see an early one.
Yeah, they could probably do it without CJ Lopez, as we see iZVENT coming over here to gank.
No way he gets out. No way he gets out. He doesn't. He baited long enough for the team to get Pyromancer. He used Bead's Aegis and Ultimate before he died. But his ult didn't go on cooldown, so that'll be helpful later if he needs to come right back into this fight. Pushing down to T2, the Seismic Shockwaves on the left side. Ares and AyeGarrett taking on the mid lane here. Both get pulled in. Dharmic Pillar's put out, and he's on the wall. Doesn't do enough damage. STAILUS has joined the fight. AyeGarrett very, very low. Gonna fall to STAILUS, and Ares is gonna have to run, because what can you do as an Ares? Might get chased down here.
Aggressing just jumped over the triple skewer coming at him that would have killed him.
What a play. KillCamKenny just trying to get under tower, and maybe it'll deter them. KillCamKenny here, though, into the Cosmos has been used. He will land. Maybe we'll see the first out Kwang ult. He uses it, gets the kill. Well, he doesn't get the kill. CJ Lopez had just ulted back in and gets a triple kill off the death. His ult did not go on cooldown. He used it, came in, and cleaned up a triple.
I would really love to see Sunbreakers push the issue and go to Fire Giant, and it looks like they're kind of headed that way right now. You have a Shogun Tisari on your Ao Kuang. You've got crit and 4 items on your Chernobog.
They're doing good damage to it too. That's just 2 members. That's a soul laner and an ADC at 20-minute mark. Typically you see this burn down pretty slow. They are melting this thing, and no one knows, and that's going to be a Fire Giant under 21 minutes going the way of Sunbreakers, and this game is getting away from the Shockwaves.
It's quite possible that they knew, and they said they can have it. We can't really step up here.
I guess that's true, but only 2 members on it. It's tough to just leave that alone and let 2 members go. Guess no one's in position. Raymond gonna already dash, but come into KillCamKenny. Misses the chains, hits the ult. Does use the beads to get away from it, but now 25% health. A good stun to create some time, but AyeGarrett gets the kill finally, and Codester gets iZVENT. Up into the sky, has to go aggressing. Might get a kill before he lands, but once he does, there it is. Codester gets a double. TypicalJava looking to enter, and no triple kill for Codester. KillCamKenny once won on the scoreboard for himself. Are they running to Phoenix right now? 20.
I think they are.
Minutes.
They have a bomb in pocket.
CJ Lopez does have ultimate. He could ult up here. And they're going to go for it. No ADC, just a Retatasker bomb. Takes a good chunk out of it. 4 people dead. They're going to get a Phoenix. Sub 22 minutes.
Wow.
How do you recover? Is it recoverable at this point?
I think at this point, you're thinking which of these picks has done the most and what we need to take away from them in game 2. This game has gone so far out of control. Almost 15,000 gold. 4 level 20s on the side of Sunbreakers, while not a single level 20 on Shockwaves.
It looks like a game 1 win for Sunbreakers is early on, but how many games have we seen this season where it looks impossible? Where they should just go next, GG easy, and then they come back and the wildest crap happens. Someone backdoors the Titan, 1 pentakill, and it flips on its head. So don't count these Seismic Shockwaves out yet. But Sunbreakers know what they're doing, and I don't think they're the type of team to squander a lead. They seem to be playing very smart, not playing egotistical. They want to get this W. See AyeGarrett pushing down a T2 there, the last standing structure outside of the 2 Phoenixes, and no other objectives on the map. Pyromancer in a few seconds.
Yeah, I think they can kind of look to push another Phoenix down with the amount of pressure and items that they have online. You can push it, test the luck, see what happens as KillCamKenny blinks in and got a couple of beads.
Nothing fruitful off the air result. Pool-wise, Cowley Killer in some trouble now. Bad out of hell doing some good damage. CJ Lopez has to dash out. This is a good push from Seismic Shockwaves. AyeGarrett already deleted, but here comes Codester in the back line. Cowley Killer's gonna get one, Coaster's gonna get another, and how it's turned on its head. CJ Lopez goes deep, gets Raymond out of the fight, aggressing 1 HP, and KillCamKenny gets one. I think everyone has gotten a kill so far, outside of one person. AyeGarrett being dead here. They're gonna push into the Titan room. The throne room is getting stormed. It's 24 minutes, aggressing the only one standing, and it's too late. Titan has already fallen. Sub 24 minutes, Sunbreakers take the first game of this semifinal match. "24 minutes, Chiron. Is that what you were anticipating coming into game 1?
That is not at all what I was anticipating, especially after the first couple of minutes of just like back and forth, nobody dying for first blood. First blood going the way of Seismic Shockwaves. Still a relatively slow game for like the first 10 minutes. For it to explode like that is crazy.
And I told you, if it looks slow, there's a storm coming in Godlike. Once the bloodshed starts, you just don't stop it. It's just brawling and fisticuffs. Fortunately, this time it looked more like a one-sided fight. Not to say Seismic Shockwaves didn't play well. They played fantastic. They were just getting out-farmed and nickeled and dimed in the jungle, and it's just nobody can stop that once that snowball started. But let's take a look at the stats here. Anything stand out to you from game 1?
I really like aggressing on this aggressive full dive Camazots. And Codester going 9-0 and 9 is insane. He split pushed that mid Phoenix when his team started to lose that fight, and then he just ults over and they got to clean up the rest of that team fight. This Retatasker did so much work for the team throughout the early, mid, and the end game.
First of all, 18 wards on KillCamKenny.
Oh.
Usually you see that. You see those numbers. I mean, keep in mind, this was sub 24 minutes, 18 wards. You usually see that if someone is getting on cooldown ganked, like Raymond. You'll see someone ward everywhere so that they can try and survive a little bit and see the gank coming. But this is on the winning team. the team that had the lead the whole time, and he drops 18 wards. Man is one for vision, and we're here for it. That's game 1. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come into game 2 and see how the Seismic Shockwaves can adapt to what just happened and bring this set back. Stay with us. Welcome back, Smite Draft League fans. We are still looking at this set, Seismic Shockwaves versus the Sunbreakers. Game 1 was such a doozy, my brain be melting. Godlike semifinals matchup. We're gonna be looking at game number 2. Chiron, you've been spot on with the predictions. What do you predict that will change or stay the same in these picks and bans?
I think the rat has to go. I think the rat did too much for Sunbreakers, and I think that Shockwaves should just ban it. Just get it out of the game. Don't even worry about it.
Now we have switch sides here, and I had some time to reflect on it, by the way, when I said we haven't seen too much of Elite Killer. That's gotta be Sandman Sam. Okay, the man has changed his name several times, and they're always banger names. So laner for Sunbreakers, so gotta be him. So Sandman Sam, if that is you and I forgot, I'm sorry. You're doing great. Now, time to get into picks and bans. Game number 2. You've heard Chiron's predictions. Let's see if anything rings true and if anything changes specifically in the banning phase. Seismic Shockwaves up first.
I think we'll probably see pretty similar bans to the first game. Seismic Shockwaves banning the rat first.
Smart move.
They have first pick, so they get to kind of a little more leeway on their bans. They don't have to take away all the meta stuff.
On the other side, Sunbreaker's going to choose to get rid of the Pele. Staple ban. It was banned by the Shockwaves last time, but first pick going the way of Shockwaves this time, so they don't want to see that get locked in. Smart move on their end. Anything else you'd like to see Shockwaves get rid of that was just absolutely an issue?
I think the rest is all kind of manageable depending on what you pick, because they take the Charon away, which I believe Sunbreakers took away last time.
Yes, Sunbreakers banned it last time. Chernobog being banned this time with Sunbreakers. So Sunbreakers have banned a god they picked that they prioritized first pick, and they've picked a god that was banned away last time. So they're really putting a lot of thought into this game too. You know, they're not taking it lightly, saying we're not first pick. We're not giving them any chance to have somebody OP.
Yeah, and as you saw, Chernobog, the rotational pressure, his ability to just rejoin a fight, so strong.
Yeah, I would say honestly that was probably the determining factor of a lot of fights going the way of Sunbreakers, was Chernobog being able to show up. And to their credit, a few times iZVENT turned into Chernobog and made a rotation, and it worked out very well. That's how we saw the first blood happen, was off a transformation and a rotation from iZVENT. But no Chernobog this time.
The Ravana ban, I think he's kind of fallen off in the solo meta. I think he's still pretty strong in the jungle, as we see Sunbreakers take the Thor away. But I'm curious about the Ravana ban.
Now, there are a lot of things still left open that got banned away in the first games. Amaterasu, the Raijin. Could be a selection here for Seismic Shockwaves to get themselves something that could be a win factor. It's very meta. If you had to pick one, you think an Amaterasu or Raijin going to get locked in?
Yeah. Both of those two picks are very strong as the Raijin gets locked in.
It will be the Raijin. So giving themselves a very good god in today's game state. See if that'll be the catalyst to help them back into the semifinal match. Still, Amaterasu left open on the table for Sunbreakers, so that's an option for them. You leave 2 OP characters, one's guaranteed to come to you. See if they prioritize it.
It is a little scary because if they do pick the Amaterasu here for Sunbreakers, she is very good at disrupting Raijin's dash. And if his dash gets interrupted, he's very susceptible to dying. As we see the Susano locked in, another great god to interrupt Raijin dash with a couple of options.
Yeah, I like the Susano pick just because part of the Raijin shtick is to do a bunch of damage and then leap out free or leap in, and guess who can follow you now? Susano. So I like that. And then, of course, Raijin ult very immobile, and you're going to be, if you're using it, you're going to be sitting right in the middle of Susano ult. So I like that. It's a smart pickup, and it's going to be a run back of the Ares support, which was played very well by KillCamKenny. We'll see that happen in game 2. I think it's a good pickup.
I agree. He had a couple of spills early, but he didn't let it get to him. He trusted in his team to make sure that he got out of the early game so he could get his items online and start surviving some of those team fights. As we see the Athena locked in.
Finally, you were asking for it. No one wanted to play it or ban it, and here's the Athena pick. How does that play in with the Raijin and against the Susano Ares?
Well, Susano has no CC immunity, so if he doesn't have beads, one taunt should kill him. Raijin has the damage for that, and you kind of just need one backliner to look at him. But if you have both backliners available, one taunt just should kill Susano diving the backline. And I really like the Athena in the Ares. You can kind of counter everything he wants to do, and you can ult out of his ult. As we see the Wukong locked in for STAILUS.
So that we may live in peace.
Oof.
And the Amaterasu to counter.
Yeah, that's curious. Obviously, Wukong has been really prioritized by a lot of solo laners. So is Amaterasu, and they choose to take it. How do you like this matchup better than the Kokolin Aokwang that just occurred?
I like it a lot more for STAILUS. He's got better safety. Wukong should be able to bully Amaterasu out in the early game and not lose totems and the cooldown buff and as many blue buffs. He's got very good blue buff secure. As we see the Camazot's taken away by the Sunbreakers.
Smart move, taking that away. So you think so far from what you've seen that it's going to be any advantage either way, or about even game state? At least there's a lot less confusion, I guess.
Yeah, there is a lot less confusion. I think it's pretty even right now. Both teams have very strong gods in their selected roles. As we see the set bend away, don't want to see AyeGarrett on that pick again.
Smart. It's just so hard to deal with that Camazotz, and he got off to a decent start, but then, you know, when a whole team is snowballing against you, it's kind of hard to keep that ball rolling as a jungler, and it's just so good. They're just going to say, you played it well, let's see you on something else for this one.
Yeah, he would have a lot of disruption in the dive, depending on what backline Sunbreakers choose to go. Because Ares doesn't peel very well. Susano's going to be getting in there, and Amaterasu's going to be getting in there. And Kama can just kind of dive you backline as we see the Naja band away and the Thoth taken off the table.
Okay. So they ban the set. Don't want to see that in the mid lane again. Think it's a smart move. And they banned the Thoth, so maybe they're not expecting anything crazy in the mid lane outside of the set. Maybe that's the only ace up the sleeve.
Maybe. I mean, you still have gods like Morgan Le Fay, Agni, Disco. You still have some very, very strong mages that can punish your beats being down. As we see Marticarus locked in. Could go ADC, could go mid.
True, it very well could. And we've seen, I think we talked about this in the last set. Marticarus had such a booming presence when he came on the scene. Auto ban, auto lock, so good. And then kind of died off. People forgot about him a little bit. A little small resurgent. Do you think he's still in a very good spot?
I think he's in a very good spot. I don't think he is nearly as strong as he was when he burst onto the scene. But Martigerous with 4 or 5 items online still does insane amounts of damage, as we see Raymond get the Hachiman, which is a very safe ADC. He should be able to escape a lot of ganks if he gets pressured out like he did last game. He just has to be careful that Susanna
That may
doesn't follow
be
him.
your undoing.
And a Cleo to round out the team. Definitely look traditional on this side. Cleodonna, we don't see very often. I think maybe a couple of times this whole season. Why pull it out here?
I think it's got a little shock factor. You know, it's not played often. I think people forget that Cleo can go into walls. Cleo can silence you. She has crazy burst damage. You know, she can set up her ult in a wall and, you know, you could be running away from a team fight and she already set her ult up in the wall and then poof, you're dead. You know, there's a lot of potential there as Freya locked in for Sunbreakers.
There's the magical ADC we've been wondering about. Well, assuming ADC. Well, I know it's Susano mid and Freya jungle, okay? I'm not going to hedge any bets here.
I'm going to hedge my bets and say it's Susano
Okay,
jungle,
Martigerous
mid, and Freya ADC.
So you think it's pretty traditional then?
I think it's going to be traditional. I think Martigerous plays better from the mid lane than ADC. I think Freya plays better from ADC than jungle. And I think Susano just dominates the jungle.
Well, that's no fun, Chiron, okay? We want to see some spice when we load into game. But here we are.
It'll surprise us.
Game number 2 coming at you, this godlike set. Let's get in there and let's check it out. Welcome into the game, Smite Draft League. If you forgot, it's Sunbreakers and Seismic Shockwaves in a best-of-3 semifinals godlike matchup. The winner of this will be taking on the Stormcallers, who we just recently saw win their semifinals match. And they were looking good. Sunbreakers trying to close this one out, not take it to a game 3, but anything can happen in the SDL. I'm iNooblet, still joined by Chiron. Initial impressions, go.
I think both teams kind of got everything that they wanted. Minus maybe Codester back on the rat. Both teams have very good beads burning potential. Both teams can abuse somebody if they're out of position. So any small mistakes can go punished very heavily.
How about a first blood prediction? Call it as you see it. Where's it gonna lie?
I think first blood is going to happen in duo lane again.
I'm going to call mid lane. I think either this Susano or this Cleo has enough early game damage and pressure and chase to be able to knock the first one out. But maybe we're both right. Maybe it's in duo by one of the junglers. Either way, we don't see anything too different than the beginning of the start from game number 1. Again, Susano going right. Codester did go to the solo lane even though sides were swapped. And Aggressing did go over to the shield buff. So that is the same, even though Order Chaos has been flopped.
Very similar start to last game. And I'm curious to see which jungler strikes first.
Oh,
Susano's level 3. He's got the blink. He can make a big impact.
Now that's something interesting I didn't expect. Even when AyeGarrett is in his grass, we can't even see it in spectator.
I had to check the mini-map to see if he was still in the lane.
Yeah, I was like, did he back? All that being said, iZVENT still hit his ability on him and still got poke damage. So that's something interesting we're going to have to watch out for. He can surprise anybody from that state if we can't see him up here.
Yeah, he really can. The stealth grass, I think, is going to potentially play a huge part in this game. As you see these chains just still connecting.
Good chains, and Raymond in trouble, a familiar state in this set, unfortunately. Still hanging over here is Codester. You know, not quite the same presence as ganking when your buddies and out Kwong. You have an easy collapse, but now collapsing might be onto Codester. Dashes out, and it's iZVENT chasing the Susano instead of the other way around. Gets the dash going, but a good hold off on abilities from STAILUS, who gets the first blood. We were all wrong. No one was even close. STAILUS, the solo laner, got it onto Susano. Raymond in trouble with a lot of chains on him, and the fire is burning. TypicalJava comes in just to make some space happen. And here comes the Sunbreakers invade onto the purple. The choppers are flying through the eyes of Raymond. I can already see it. This is his Vietnam. His purple buff is always under duress, and it goes the way of Sunbreakers.
Yeah. I really want to see Aggressing give him some love this game. He's got to help his man Raymond get some purple buffs. That is the worst feeling as an ADC, to not ever get to pick up a purple buff except for your first one.
I almost feel like I got some deja vu going on. The starts were the same. Purple buff was invaded. Seismic Shockwaves got the first blood like they did in game number 1. But here's the next stage, and that's where Sunbreakers return the favor from a rotation from Codester. That's exactly what happened. Rat came over and... Excuse me. Yes, yeah, Rat? Who am I talking about here? Who was played Rat last game? It was Codester, yeah. He came over and he got the kill. I swear I know what's going on. So far, everything same. Now, 1-1, 4.5 minutes in, a bit faster pace than game number 1. Aggressing, just trying to get away from everybody. A good dodge in the wall. Finally, we have our 1v1 that didn't go well for Raymond last time. And now on a Hachiman against a Freya, as long as Freya holds down, not too bad of a matchup.
Not terrible. Not terrible. He just has to keep Freya at range.
Oh, iZVENT taking a page out of his jungler's name and getting real aggressive here. Good damage coming out from Raijin. Here's TypicalJava. Doesn't taunt right away. Actually drops the 3 before the taunt. And KillCamKenny cannot get away. A death for KillCamKenny by the way of iZVENT. Huge for the Seismic Shockwaves. Here's the 1v1. Hachiman ults out. CJ Lopez, very healthy, didn't use ult. Now I would say advantage Freya in that lane for sure. TypicalJava gonna ult away. Didn't like what they were feeling by that Codester. And a blue buff under duress. This time, STAILUS the one contesting it. And does get it. Good invade from Shockwaves.
That is a beautiful job, and what I was expecting to see out of STAILUS on this Sun Wukong. He just has the ability to dominate this matchup, more so than he had the power to do so last game.
Yeah, kind of tough to confirm that, I guess, on an Amaterasu. Charging up that ability, hoping he doesn't take it yet and time it just right. Tough thing to do. Good chains on iZVENT, nothing comes from it. Walks away. Oh, hold on. Hold on, purple buff. Purple buff gonna go to Shockwaves. They got it. The game state's
Raymond
changing, ladies and gentlemen. Shockwaves have learned. They're ready to get this done.
Raymond said, "I've had enough. You guys are getting me my purple
Everyone
buff."
5-man rotate over here. We're getting this. No more. Been there, buddy.
STAILUS, UTP over 2. We bringing everybody.
I would say it's even more important now because Freya is manageable if it's an even game state or they're behind for sure. A Freya ahead who's snowballing on XP, just impossible to deal with. Good whoop, but unfortunately the stem had stopped. 1 auto hits. Raymond's gonna back under tower. KillCamKenny is ready here to make stuff happen. Ult just always seems to be off cooldown, just all the time. It's always there.
Yeah, CJ Lopez went the hasten ring first. So if he catches Raymond with beads down and he catches the dash, that's going to feel really, really bad.
Good poke damage on CJ Lopez, but here comes the KillCamKenny ult. Pulls TypicalJava back in, who chose not to go beads. Went blink this time. Had beads last time on the Ganesh. There's a lot of damage. TypicalJava already dead, and Susano ult is not going to claim it. CJ Lopez is going to get the double kill off that one. Huge 2 kills for Freya, who now jumps ahead a full level as Raymond just turned to 7. That's gonna be tough.
massive. I really like the play that Aggressive went for there as Raymond. Uh-oh.
Use the beads and gets the Athena ult just to be sure that there's no snowballing, but KCKenny's still here, man. Still hanging around. I think he just wanted to get that timer on the purple. I don't think he liked that they didn't confirm it last time. And he's walking into two people. Nowhere to go again. We've seen this before. It's good chain, so Raijin can't leap on him right now, and he gets out.
Yeah, we know KillCamKenny's not afraid to not afraid to get dirty early, as Sandman Sam confirms his own blue buff this time.
Cal Leet, Sandman Sam, making me eat my words there. I said it's gonna be really hard to confirm your own buff as an Amaterasu, and he just said, "Watch this, man. Good job getting that, stopping that train."
He's level 10 now. His second ability should be max level, and that is one of the highest damaging abilities on the field right now. I believe base damage should be like 400 plus damage, fully charged.
How do you feel about the gem start from Freya? I've been seeing a lot of people run like Boombas off the start with the Freya. So not something you usually see here. You know, you're not getting any cooldown, getting quite a bit of burst. How do you like that?
I'm a personal fan of the gem over Boombas. Boombas gives you better tower killing potential, but something just feels so right about once you get that Gemma focus upgrade. You know, you pop your 2, you
So
pop
fast.
your 1, and you just get 6% more damage just from pressing your 1-2. Something about that just feels right.
And it doesn't hurt being 3 levels up on your opponent. Raymond struggling over here. Our lurkers from Sunbreakers in the jungle, so not necessarily a lot of help that can come over his way. Codester looking to invade. You can see it in his eyes. He wants it, and KillCamKenny's there to support. Gonna be kind of hard to collapse on this Aggressing, though. Just get into a wall and get out, you know. Mid lane fight. AyeGarrett, little bit of trouble, little bit of poke. KillCamKenny chaining Aggressing, so he can't come help. Good Raijin damage. KillCamKenny is here. He does have ult. There it is. Loves to use it. 2 ultimates out for the price of 1. Advantage, Sunbreakers.
Beautiful blink ult by KillCamKenny there. Good reactions by TypicalJava and iZVENT to get their ults in time. That Athena ult can be a little tricky when you're panicking.
Look at the rotation from CJ Lopez. Making it look good on the fray. TypicalJava, 1 HP. Gets out. See if Aggressing can turn it onto him. iZVENT in trouble, though, in the mid lane and turns it onto Codester. What a play there. Took a Susanoo ult right to the face and got the kill. See if he can double it up here and jump onto KillCamKenny. Very low, in trouble. Aggressing takes that one. Good support from iZVENT. Great plays in the mid lane. Looking strong on the Raijin.
Very, very strong on this Raijin. Very comfortable as AyeGarrett is invading back camps as a Marticarus.
It's in the playbook, I'm guessing. Always invade their jungle at all times.
Must be. I must have missed that page of their playbook.
I am not privy to the Sunbreakers playbook, so I'm just speculating. But despite 2 kills and 2 assists going the way of iZVENT, and it's seeming like he's making a huge impact, AyeGarrett 0-0 and 0, but still exact same level 12, keeping up. What's the story there?
He's slightly behind in experience. We see iZVENT take to 13 before AyeGarrett has, as Raymond gets his beads forced, his ult forced. Not quite enough damage.
Here comes Aggressing, might be able to turn this one around. No longer has the hasten, no longer has mana, no longer has their life. Aggressing, a good rotation to clean up. CJ Lopez going way deep in between the towers.
And KillCamKenny might fall here too. You have 3 people surrounding him. AyeGarrett's showing up for a little bit of support, and that's enough to scare them away as the beacon spawned in.
Are they just going to get this beacon? They half health KillCamKenny, real ease, and now just TypicalJava pushing the issue on the Stygian. Now the boys are there. They can help. STAILUS coming over, but already half health. He's bringing a Cowleak killer with him. A big ultimate out of Ares. Raymond gets pulled in. had to use the ultimate against Freya and the beads, and he's dead, and Aggressing sure to follow too. Godlike killer with a double. TypicalJava now next on the menu. STAILUS cleans up Codester in the background. AyeGarrett now on the board. And KillCamKenny chaining to the very last breath. Still here, not running away. Going with the squad. CJ Lopez gets STAILUS and a whoop onto iZVENT. Chain misses though, and he dashes out. Surely would have been a deicide, but that's 4. And we take those.
That was a beautiful team fight by Sunbreakers there. The rotation in from the side by Godlike Killer and Codester, I think kind of caught Shockwaves off guard. I think they had a little bit more time to secure that beacon. And Sunbreakers were just able to punish them for not quite being prepared.
And we see Vent dashing in here, and AyeGarrett already got the beads. Not going to help. The damage is there. Another kill. 3-0-3 for the mid laner. It might be Raijin trying to put this one on the back. They might have to play around him because he's doing very well. And Aggressing ahead of Codester right now. Gonna meet him in the jungle, but KCKenny always there to help. Ages have expired, can't get in the wall. The chains are there. KillCamKenny gets one. Blink Tot, little too late for Athena, and Raymond just contemplating how he's gonna get this purple buff as soon as it spawns.
They're not going for the purple buff invade there, which is interesting.
Be nice, guys. I like that. Like to see that. Let him have his purple. We got other stuff to do. So far, take a look at the game state. 3K up for Sunbreakers, even on the kill board. So Shockwaves are getting in there, mostly on the back of iZVENT. But it feels a lot like Sunbreakers heavy, doesn't it?
The Sunbreakers side lanes are quite far ahead of their lane opponents. Level and a half, 2 levels. Itemization is pretty far ahead as well. I imagine Godlike Killer with that double kill and the 2 assists that he got to pick up is going to be able to finish up his Shogun's Kusari here soon. The amount of pressure that they've had is insane.
I think the story is just here in the dual lane. Immediately beats the whoops. Hasten is there, hops on the horsey. Same thing happened, except for Lopez does not dive too deep this time. I think the real story is how they are keeping Raymond down. Raymond's a great ADC. He's a great player. Has not been able to get involved, sitting at just under 2K. Codester getting a little too involved. Has to beads. Looking for the Raijin ult to hit. Doesn't. And here comes the death from above. Not enough damage to kill iZVENT. He's still going to keep that clean sheet on the death toll.
He did lose his Aegis, though.
True. Both did. And here comes the blink ult from KillCamKenny. He saw that Raymond had to use everything to survive the Freya and is now going to die to the Freya several seconds later. And Java not looking too hot either. KillCamKenny very tanky. He can hold this for a while. Java can't go anywhere. A double kill and the 5th kill for this Freya.
Beautiful play by KillCamKenny there.
And they're on Pyromancer. They take Pyromancer.
That's the presence of an Ama who went Oni Hunter's Garb instead of Chosen.
And now they're on gold. Someone stop it. The boat's sinking. Plug a leak somewhere. Here. Oh, he's going to sacrifice the clean sheet for this one. Does get a good dash out, and Athena is ulting to help. Codester used ult, but now dash back in, and a double whoop gets the beads. Codester getting taunted in. Looking unhealthy. TypicalJava might get that one. iZVENT goes back in. He goes back in and now is on Godlike Killer, who cleans it up. Aggressing a little more healthy than Godlike Killer. Might get the return onto that, but now has to deal with an AyeGarrett on Meticulous. Goes death from above. Dodging good jukes. Finally cleans it up. Raymond not scared to get in there. Gonna have to ult out immediately, though. That's a level 17 Marty on the other side. STAILUS taking on 2. They're both low, but so is he. AyeGarrett finally cleans up Raymond. And Ares commits the ult just so he doesn't get away. Lopez picks up that one. Java in a bad spot. Frey Autos will get another double for CJ Lopez. That is a deicide 17 minutes in for these Sunbreakers.
Wow. Just wow. Every time the fight starts to look like it's going the Seismic Shockwaves way, the Sunbreakers find a way to turn it.
it starts so good for Shockwaves. Every fight, it starts good, and then it kind of goes back to Sunbreakers, and then it comes back good. Because these are good players that are not scared to die swinging.
They're not scared to die with their teammates.
Yeah, they go back in. You're like, oh, iZVENT's 1 HP. He's getting out. Dashes back in for the kill. And then gets a lot of damage on his way out. And I feel like it's those plays that can turn this game on its head at any moment. But also, Sunbreakers are just immovable, man. They're not flinching at the aggression coming back at them. They're working too well as a team. Targeting too good. Freya's too far ahead. And they're just running it.
5 levels. Freya is way too far ahead.
And you see
Raymond doesn't get that purple buff. That purple buff sitting there.
When it's just sitting there, you got to take it sometimes. You know what I mean? He's not there. You are. What are you going to do? You're going to pick up the $100 bill.
Yeah, exactly.
Tough spot, too, is that KillCamKenny, who's sitting right here in the purple buff, about to probably blink in, is the same level as Raymond. And Ares does so much damage naturally. Good horsey ride out there to safety. But now you got to not just deal with the Freya damage 5 levels ahead. You got to deal with Ares, who's just going to be in your face and so tanky. Death from above's doing good damage. Aggressing will fall to KillCamKenny. TypicalJava's looking for a way to dash out. iZVENT went in on Codester. It's going to survive that one. STAILUS going to clean it up. TypicalJava finally falls. Double kill for KillCamKenny. And look at this. Raijin's still going in. KillCamKenny cleans up Raymond all the way at the Phoenix beyond a tier 2 that's still standing. And they're both going in. Brawl to the last second. That's a triple kill for KillCamKenny. And he wants it. He's running down STAILUS. He's looking for it. You can't get out. And KillCamKenny, can you get it? Don't let him get away. He beats it. Just for maybe the cooldown? No, he doesn't have it upgraded. And finally, an unofficial quadra. It took too much time. Good on STAILUS to not let that accolade pop on the screen. 4 kills. They let him have the Amaterasu. We were questioning it, whether the Wukong was the better lock-in. 7-0-4 for allegedly Sandman Sam.
Wow. He can just control the game from this point. He's the first to level 20. He's got his upgraded starter, as CJ Lopez is in a bit of trouble here. He can maybe turn this around.
2v1, Aegis used up into the sky. Valkyrie's discretion, could it be enough? They're very low. Use beads and Aegis, buy some more time. Here comes KillCamKenny. CJ Lopez gets the kill, and the rest of the squad comes in to clean up Raymond. Who is this kid? CJ Lopez unstoppable, and you gave him Freya, and he... Beautiful use of the ult, beautiful use of the relics, bought so much time for the rotations. You can't do it better. Primal Fury probably going the way of Sunbreakers here.
That is one of the most beautiful uses of relics and ult, to stay alive and prolong the fight so you get health, I think I have ever seen.
Yeah, it's just a thing of beauty. Everybody else there panics, turns, and tries to run. Nope. I'll be right here. Everybody stick around for a little while. Hold on. It's going to take a little while to kill me. Keep trying to do your thing. And boom, everybody's dead. Pyromancer next on the menu.
I'm going to turn around damage, too.
Yeah, got the kill. Stayed alive.
He did
That's
a
wild.
huge chunk of damage to Aggressing there.
And got
before
relics.
his team showed up.
Raymond just stuck to this duo lane, trying to catch up so he can be a factor. Still sending the bottom player damage charts. Not his own fault. Just... They're non-stop in his face. Doesn't have time to get player damage. Only has time to try and run away. Good whoop. Athena ult coming in and Aggressing here to help. CJ Lopez can't get out of this one. That's just too much. It's going to be a shutdown for Raymond. And boy, did he need that one. Now level 16. I'm pretty sure that just gave him 2 levels. But look at the Fire Giant. 21 minutes in. Only about a minute slower than game number 1. They're starting it up and only STAILUS can contest. Nope. Fire Giant to Sunbreakers. It was a really good try. Gets the Hawk form and gets out. Everybody else was on the left side of the map. A great call, and I think that was just tactical feeding by CJ Lopez. Hey, everybody come to me. I'm a Freya. It's going to take 4 of you to kill me. And then Fire Giant.
Yeah. And, I mean, Freya doesn't necessarily need Fire Giant. She doesn't hit structures very hard. You know, that's what you have the Martigerous for. As iZVENT gets his back stopped, That's not looking
Yeah,
good.
not much you can do there. Just wait for the death. Save what you can for the next fight. Good heads-up play. Almost had it off. Gets caught out. Unfortunate.
But that interaction right there, the Ama silence into the Raijin dash,
Yep.
is just going to keep happening.
Yeah, you called it. It's very good.
Is going to have a very hard time escaping from this Amaterasu at this point in the game.
23 minutes in. Gold charge, XP charge don't even need to be looked at. Tier 2 being run down by Sunbreakers, and they're looking at this Phoenix. Have EFG, not in hand, or excuse me, they have FG, not EFG. Beads and ults have already come out, and TypicalJava is nowhere to run. Gonna fall to KillCamKenny for the 9th kill, making him divine in this set. Raymond getting pulled in and just deleted. Codester with one. Middle Phoenix down already. 23 minutes in. STAILUS looking for a way out. Can't find one. Does up into the cloud with maybe 15 HP. It's got to slam down and form out. Marticorous on the case a little bit. KillCamKenny with the 10th kill. Third match. Double return for iZVENT, but CJ Lopez makes him pay. That's 4 dead. Only STAILUS. 3 alive for Sunbreakers. 2 with Fire Giant. Don't think they'll push this throne room.
No, but they can push this left side Phoenix.
Yeah,
maybe not anymore with TypicalJava up.
It's just a front line.
They're gonna try.
A good taunt in to get some damage while they're tanking the Phoenix. And yes, KillCamKenny pays for it. Great use of your frontline abilities there just to make the Phoenix work for you. Fire minions are pushing down, already knocking at the door, and Shockwaves are going to try and chase out a little bit. Blink Tiger form thinks better of it when AyeGarrett turns around. Now TypicalJava in trouble, but here's Raymond. Level 17 can do some damage now. Dashes in. But Death from Above is ready to go, and the damage is just turned around. CJ Lopez gets another. AyeGarrett with a good root keeps STAILUS back. But TypicalJava might have what it takes to get it done. Good damage on AyeGarrett. He's 1 HP, but so is STAILUS. And Aggressing's here to try and make it happen. Up into the cloud once more. Down on AyeGarrett. He's healing a lot. Not going to survive this one. A good kill from STAILUS and a great kill from Aggressing onto CJ Lopez.
You gotta think CJ Lopez could have just walked away there.
Nah, not who he is.
I respect it, but he could have just walked away. He could have said, I'll see you later, AyeGarrett. You have fun with those 2 front line. As TypicalJava gets deleted by Codester.
Yeah, 2 for
This
2 here.
Susano is putting out a lot of damage.
It seems like a little different feel here from Sunbreakers, if I'm being honest. It's a similar game state. They're getting the objectives well. They immediately push the Phoenix. But then in game 1, they sort of played it strategically, backed off, got the rest, came back in with a good force and a good plan to get the other Phoenixes. And this time they're kind of like, I think we know what's going on here. Let's take a couple fights. It feels more of a brawl aspect than a strategic, chess game that it was in game 1.
Yeah, they have the lead, so they can kind of get away with that if they so choose, as iZVENT is going to get punished for that aggressive play.
Yeah, that was a bold leap in. I respect it. He does have the damage. It was punished immediately. Amaterasu ult's going to stop TypicalJava, and the chains are going to keep him there for a while. Aggressing doing what he can to peel. Not going to be enough. And look at this. KillCamKenny not scared. Like, where are you going? I wasn't done. Trying to get these player damage numbers up.
I mean, can you blame him?
No.
He's got Death's Embrace. He can just dash at people, whoever he wants, and he's going to be sustaining so much.
Stygian Beacon, Sunbreakers, Pyromancer, Sunbreakers, Fire Giant. Still not EFG for another solid 3 minutes. About to spawn. Gonna be the second one, and the second Fire Giant, I believe, is where we saw Sunbreakers push for the end game. They broke the game wide open with the first one around 20 minutes. The next one, they just went for it. It is very low, not gonna get stolen, gonna go the way of Sunbreakers. Let's see what they do with this push. What do you think they're gonna do?
I think they're going to try to repeat what they did last game, like you mentioned. I think that, they broke the base. they got themselves in a very nice position for a second FG to end the game.
Here they come. Looking at an unhealthy Phoenix. Leading the charge, KillCamKenny. STAILUS, pretty healthy. Doing okay. Codester coming over. That might be a little more troublesome. They are in the base, now hitting the Phoenix. It is gone. iZVENT, though, has cleaned up CJ Lopez on the right side, but Codester's right there. You know he wants to ult. Looks like he's going to ult over the wall. Not going to be enough to hit him. Titans have walked out of base. So for the time being, Shockwaves are alive, as their Titan is nowhere to be killed inside the throne room. STAILUS taking on 4 members, choosing to still go in. TypicalJava there to help. In fact, the whole team of Shockwaves there to help. A big 3-man ult from KillCamKenny. Trying to make it fruitful. Athena ult comes out. Codester is dealing with a Raijin on his face. KillCamKenny has cleaned up. STAILUS and Raymond getting a kill onto Codester. A brawl near the speed buff. Sunbreakers are more unhealthy than the Shockwaves, but we've seen that turn on its head. 2 for 2. And Titan's still swinging over there in right lane.
2 for 2, and with Ama sustain and AyeGarrett sustain,
Fire Giant
they
sustain.
can still push and get this tier 2 tower here.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one because Shockwaves were struggling to put on a defense against just Fire Giant Shockwaves, or excuse me, Fire Giant Sunbreakers. And now a Titan's pushing. They could have went with it, and surely Shockwaves couldn't stop them, but they're going to let it go. Maybe pick up an Oni Fury here before they siege again. Titan gonna fall before the T2 and got a little break. Chaos has subsided for the moment.
They still have Fire Giant on 3. You know, they can regroup and they can try to push the tier 2 tower, the Phoenix on the left side after they pick up this Oni Fury. Seismic Shockwaves have shown a lot more fight back on these defenses.
Yeah, they have, and I love it. They know the season's on the line. They want to head to the finals. They want to stop the #1 seed that have just been tearing up this season. But it's a big ass, it looks like, and Raymond looks like he's going to get caught up. You can't just walk away from an Amaterasu who comes in, and Raymond does not have ult to get away. The whole team committing everything they have to try and help. Raijin using the ult well to not get pulled in by the Ares ult, and a lot of damage going back and forth. KillCamKenny under half, looking real unhealthy here, but a big Susanoo ult is going to turn that around. AyeGarrett going to get STAILUS, and we can hear Death from Above in the background as KillCamKenny takes out the opposing support. And now Shockwaves with 2 dead are running into the base.
You gotta think, you know, you defended around your Phoenix tier 2 pretty well last time. That they would have just defended around their Phoenix again, but they took that fight in neutral territory.
Oh man, KillCamKenny already has ult back up, and they are in the throne room. They are not super healthy. They do have a little sustain, but the front line especially is very low, and you're gonna need them to take the Titan for a little bit. They still tier 2 up, but here come the fire waves in both lanes, and they haven't even got Oni Fury yet. That fight started because they spotted Raymond up too far, and they chose to go for it. And on the backside of it, got a kill, and iZVENT went all the way in with just aggressing there to help. Has to use beads to not get pulled in, and it's like Shockwaves are more worried about them walking away from them than recovering. And Aggressing gonna fall to CJ Lopez. Death from Above, not gonna be the thing to kill Raymond, but KillCamKenny will get a double kill. And here is the throne room siege. All they wanted was Oni Fury, but with all on the line, Shockwaves push the issue, and Sunbreakers come out victorious in this set, and they will meet Stormcallers in the finals. Chiron, give it to me straight. What was this set about?
This set was about side lane, both side lanes from the Sunbreakers. We saw how much of pressure they applied to the dual lane to keep Raymond down, and they kind of just let KillCamKenny do his own thing. Kind of just did his own thing and controlled his lane without much help. The occasional blue buff invade from Codester there. But it was all about the sidelines. You know, I think Seismic Shockwaves put on one hell of a performance there, especially in game 2. They had a lot of fights that they were able to punish the Sunbreakers for over aggressing, and little mistakes can turn into big mistakes, and we saw the Shockwaves kind of abused the little mistakes a lot more there.
Yeah, I think if there's one thing that's apparent is that the Shockwaves went down swinging, man. There's something to be said about losing a set, but there's also something to be said about how you lose a set, and they did not make that easy. They fought to the bitter end. We're not intimidated at all by the Sunbreakers. They took it to them every moment. But the Sunbreakers do come out victorious. They are still holding their spot as the #1 seed. They will meet Stormcallers in the Godlike finals. That's all we have for you on this episode. But all we have left for Smite Draft League playoffs are the finals. Unstoppable, Divine, Immortal, Godlike. A lot of really good players and some great teams gonna be matching up, and I am excited to watch them. So make sure you hang out and look for those games to be aired. That'll do it for us. I've been iNooblet, joined by Chiron on the desk for this set. Hope to see you in the finals. Have a great night.